prices. So here he is, thoughtful, always opinionated, sometimes controversial. Reform leader Richard Tice, my latest guest on Money Talks. Richard, good to have you back on The Money. You are most welcome. I know you and colleagues at Reform, you've been developing a lot of policy proposals over recent months, not least on taxation, and you've got some specific ideas on energy policy. What say you?
Thank you, Liam. Good afternoon. And the story of that pub is just so tragic. You see the impact on families, employees, customers, communities. I know 3 other pubs, Liam, that are in the same position, that are going bust when their electricity tariff, current one, expires. And this, Liam, is totally unnecessary. There is a solution out there. I put it out at a press conference yesterday. The truth is, Liam, that we are in a global energy war where nations are scrabbling for energy in the same way we were scrabbling for PPE. And the UK energy market has failed. It's no longer fit for purpose, Liam. And we're into a situation that it's called force majeure. And in a time of a war-like situation, governments need to take control of the production, of the pricing of production. I hope you can still hear me. And
yep.
In here with energy, what we're saying is the only solution to this. The crisis is so serious, it's seismic, that the government needs to basically, by law, mandate all energy producers, whether extractors of gas, wind farm generators, power plants, they need to sell to UK retail suppliers at the average price they received back in 2021. And that if they, and this is it's a warlike situation requiring a wartime type response, because that's what governments did in war. They essentially control the pricing of production. And if you do that, then actually you can bring the price cap for domestic people back to about £1,750. And crucially, to pick up this whole sentiment about what happens to businesses, you can impose a cap at businesses, Liam, of about 35 pence per kilowatt hour. Much higher, double what it was for businesses last year, but containable, just about manageable. And if we don't provide protection for small businesses, then hundreds of thousands of jobs are going to go. Our solution is one that is durable, Liam, for what I fear is going to be many years of this, because not only have we got a crisis of price, we've got a crisis of supply, which could go on for 3, 4, 5, 6 years until the government deals with that as well. People naively think this is going to end after the winter and it'll all be fine again. Why would Putin reopen the gas taps when he's enjoying the pain that Western European economies are going through? I think we've got to plan for the worst. Yes, prepare for something better, but plan for the worst. And the worst case scenario is we're into serious energy rationing. The way out of it is the government controls the price until we can increase our domestic supply with shale gas, with nuclear reactors, with more North Sea gas. But to do that quickly, Liam, the government has to impose a national planning regime with local compensation. So if the planning for critical infrastructure like energy is taken at a national level, you have a automatic local compensation, then you can start to get on top of the supply crisis. That's going to take some time. In the interim, the government's got to have this control over the pricing, because it's uncomfortable for the likes of you and I who believe in markets. We believe in capitalism and entrepreneurship, but that doesn't work in a wartime situation. And in my view, really uncomfortable, but the truth is we're in a global energy war. And unless the government deals with this very, very rapidly, then tens of thousands of small businesses like the one you've just shown there, tragically are going to go bust, and we head towards a very, very bad place. It's solvable, Liam, but it's got to be done really quickly.
It's really comes to something, Richard, when a free marketeer like you, a business champion like you, somebody who wants to stay out of our lives, who wants low taxation, who wants us to keep more of our money. All your instincts are along those lines. You and I have talked about economics for a long time, and you are saying force majeure. The government basically takes over the North Sea oil and gas industry to the extent that it dictates the price at which it is selling energy to British firms and households. That's a big change.
It's horrific, Liam. And as I say, it's deeply uncomfortable for people like me. But I recognise where we are. I recognise the crisis that we've got. And you have to plan for the worst. I'm afraid most of the commentators and other political parties, they optimistically but naively think this is going to go away in a few months. And so they think you can just, sort of subsidise a cap and hope it goes away. It probably won't. We have to plan for the worst. We're in a warlike crisis, and that's where governments have to adopt a warlike position. And if you've planned for the worst, then look, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it is a year or so. But fundamentally, you and I know that if you've got a shortage of supply, there's only one thing that happens to the price. It goes up and it keeps going up. This week, the price of gas is going through the roof. The price of coal is going through the roof. So we've got to dramatically increase the supply, Liam, but that's going to take some years because unfortunately, civil servants and politicians in the last decade have been grossly negligent in not ensuring we had a sufficient domestic supply of energy.
They certainly have. The Rough storage facility closed down, their undersea storage facility off the coast of Yorkshire. We're now scrambling to get that back up and running. Richard, I guess you've got a two-pronged approach at reform. You want to do that force majeure thing. I'm still sort of absorbing that idea. And you also want, of course, to unleash fracking. But with the best will in the world, fracking isn't going to help us this winter, is it? It's going to take a lot longer than that. And can you really just tell local communities that they are going to have to endure fracking, as they see it, endure fracking in their localities?
Well, look, the reality is, Liam, yes, it'll take some time, which is why you've got to have the price measures in place in the interim. But it's not a question of enduring it, actually, at all, Liam. The opinion polling now shows that a growing majority of the population want a shale gas industry. Look, it's owned by us all. There's £1 trillion worth of potential of levelling up by drilling down. I knock on doors all over the north of England, and let me tell you, people want it. They want it now. They know that this is the way to cheap energy. And look, there's over 500,000 shale gas wells in America that has transformed the American gas price. It's about a third of the UK gas price. That's not a coincidence. It's very simple. If people want cheap, reliable, affordable energy, we've got to use the energy treasure that we all own. It's under our feet.
We've got to leave it there, I'm afraid. We've got to leave it there. Richard Tice, you are the leader of the Reform Party. Great to have you with us here on the